Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to unbox this cute little crochet kit by Leevot. I will post their link below. They sent this to me to do a review. The idea behind this kit is to give you everything you need as a beginner to get started with an amigurumi. So I've made these before in the past. I've shown a couple of videos here on this channel. Mainly most of my yarn stuff is on alpaca my yarn. So I'll link that below as well. But this particular vendor asked me to feature this here on this channel. So that's why I'm posting this one here today. So let's just unbox this and see what kind of materials they provide. It came in like a bubble wrap bag from Amazon, and they can be purchased on Amazon. So those links for purchase will be below. If you're just trying to get started with crochet and don't want to buy a whole bunch of supplies, this is a great way to start. So their instructions are great. They teach you those beginner stitches. They also give you a QR code right here that after you purchase, you can follow this QR code here in the corner and go to an online tutorial video in order to be able to do this project. It also has very good illustrations, step by step, of what each step should look like as you're finishing the project. So my biggest struggle when I was a beginner was that not only did I need to go find the yarn and the crochet hook and the eyes and the stuffing, I had to go shop for all of those items individually. And especially if you have a child or a friend just getting started into crochet and you don't know that they're going to love it, that can be an expensive investment to drop in buying all of those items all at once. But here in this nice beginner kit, they give you the stuffing. They give you exact amount of yarn that you need with those colors just for this project. They even give you some little lavender. It smells amazing, so that this can smell like an amazing project. You just mix it in with your stuffing. And then these were the hardest things for me to find when I was a beginner. These are called safety eyes, and I cannot tell you how many hours I spent on Etsy just trying to find the right size safety eyes for the projects that I was working on, because they're all sold in millimeters, and I just didn't know what one, a 3mm eye versus a 5mm eye. I didn't know what the size differences would look like. But here, they give you safety eyes. They also give you a couple of stitch markers so you don't lose your way. They give you a darning needle to get your loose ends in just right. And they give you the proper size crochet hook for the yarn that you are using. They take all the guesswork and all the extensive hours of shopping out of it by giving it to you all in one kit. Now, the only thing in particular I would be really careful about, especially with beginners, is finding your end piece so that you don't end up with a huge knotted mess. So before I even get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand wind this into a ball right away. That's the only downside I find about this, is that I know if I had a child doing this, this is going to end up being one huge mangled mess. I'm already kind of making a mess out of it myself. So yeah, make sure to wind this into a ball before you get started. All right, so winding this into a ball takes a minute, but it is so worth the headache to go ahead and get that done. So I'm going to do that with these other two as well, but I thought I would show you how I do that. For example, with this yellow one here, the blue one, I already had a hopping mess, so that took me a minute. So when you take the wrapper off, try to leave your skein as flat as possible while you search for the end. So you'll see I found the end right here already. So make sure you're not pulling your end through any loops. Just make sure it's solo. So that's one of them. But as you can see, that end kind of goes through several loops, and that's how you end up with a knot really quick. So I'm going to try to find my other end, which I am not seeing at all. Okay, I'm not seeing the other end. So we're going to try to work with this one end. And what I do is I just follow it carefully and gently pull. So when I see that it's going through some loops, I just try to avoid tugging on any loops so that I'm not creating any knots. There we go. And then when I have a bit of it unraveled, I will start rolling up my ball. So I just do with 2 fingers. So just carefully watch your stack and try not to disrupt it too much. Just gently pull out the yarn and it will unravel itself. Sometimes if you pull too quickly, you'll create knots by loops getting stuck in between the yarn. But if you take it at an even pace and just let it have time to unravel and unloop, then you're not going to get those knots. Then sometimes it just is easier to just loop it through. If you see a thing or two, there we go, there's the other end. And there we go. So it takes a little bit of patience, but definitely totally worth it. Just take your time with it and make yourself 3 balls. So I'll show you with this one as well. Okay, so before you get started with your project, I recommend you take everything out. For one, I do also recommend that you take the stuffing out of the plastic bag. This will allow time for the batting to fluff up while you're working on your project. You don't want a flat penguin, so it's nice to give your batting some air so it can start working on getting fluffy. And then this is the little lavender pouch. I balled up all 3 balls, the blue, the yellow, and the white. All right, so how this project starts is with a magic ring or magic circle. So I'm not going to be going into a huge tutorial here. My idea is to post some more tutorials on my Alpaca My Yarn channel. Ooh, I already got some fuzzies here. On my Alpaca My Yarn channel on how to do magic ring, if you don't know that already. I just want to show what this project looks like when it's actually done. So we'll start with a magic ring. All right, so this is the beginning of my magic ring. So if you're familiar with amigurumi, you know most amigurumi projects do start with 6 stitches in the circle. So we'll put this down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how a magic ring works is we're able to tighten it into a circle. Now I don't make it super tight yet because I know I need to work my 12 stitches for my next round. This is where I put in my first stitch holder. So this is number 6. I'm moving this so quickly that I don't clip it. I just hang it here to hold my spot. So when I finish number 12, same thing. I put my hook there, I'm going to put my stitch marker there. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. So I'll show you how the magic ring works. So here's my tail, and we can just cinch it in tighter, and look, we have no hole. It completely closes. That's the beauty of a magic ring with amigurumi. Absolutely love it. All right, so here I'm going to mark stitch number 24, and now we're going to stitch 3, increase 1, so that we end up with 30. Okay, so now we're at 30. So now we're going to do another ring at the same size. So we're just going to do another 30 stitches. And we're going to do that for 10 rounds. But I did want to show how well this yarn works with amigurumi. You'll see when you're crocheting, it's going to tend to want to curl this direction, but what I do is as I go, I start pushing my inside. So the inside is where my magic loop tail is, and so I just tug on that every now and then as I get further up, I'll actually stuff it, add the eyes and everything like that. But you can see how nice close knit, tight of a knit you get with the smaller hook size in comparison to the yarn size. So let me give you a tip while using this particular hook with this yarn. You'll want to have pretty tight tension. I find that if I keep my tension pretty tight, then I'm not having to worry about the yarn splitting on me. So let me show you what I mean. So here, you see how I'm wrapping it around my finger and I'm pulling pretty tight. See, when it's loose, you can actually see those fibers. But if I pull it tight, I'm able to get that hook in there a lot better. So pull tight, then pull the loop through, and it works a lot better for you. Okay, well, I finished one of the little guys. My version is a little different. I did an open beak on mine. Instead of closing the circle and turning it around, I folded it in half and then stitched it to be like a little open beak. So that's their version, and this is my version. I also decided to put the eyes a little closer. So that's how I made mine. But you can see there's enough yarn and stuffing, and even the little lavender pouch, there's enough to make a whole other little penguin. There's 2 more eyes. So I can make this one a little buddy as well. Super cute, super easy to do. Instructions are very clear. It's a basic amigurumi. I made this in just a few hours, and that was mainly because I was just being slow. So my biggest tip is make sure to wind up your yarn before you get started, and then everything else falls into place. So I'll put the Amazon link below. This is Leevot. They provide everything you need in one little kit. Super easy to make. It's a great mom and kid project if you want to help your kid get into crochet, or a student and teacher project, because you can get 2 out of 1 packet. All right, well, that's it for today. If you enjoy making little amigurumi as well, please give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one.